Welcome to Hobby Nonsense, everybody. This week is going to be an excellent episode, and I've realized I've been saying this at the beginning of every single episode, and that's because it is. It's always excellent, so just strap in for that. This week is going to be fun because we've got WWE specialists coming on, and because I am not, I'll admit, people, I may not always have all knowledge on all subjects, and WWE is not my forte. However, I've got a close friend who is longtime advocate of this show. Mr. Ray Solorio's joined us today. Ray, how are you?
I'm good, Jesse. How are you? Thank you so much for having me back on the podcast. I'm super excited to talk wrestling.
To have you on and not specifically bring you on just for Pokemon, is that weird for you?
I know. Hey, wrestling was like my first love, so I'm super excited. And I told you earlier, it might get super nerdy. And so, like, if you have any questions, stop, because I get deep in the weeds of wrestling real quick.
I chat GPT'd this. I've got some really solid questions for Adam. Adam Gellman is going to be joining us, who I believe he's been on this show before. He's definitely been on the SCN episodes in the past, but I thought this would be good because we don't give a lot of WWE attention on the Hobby Nonsense pod because there is so much question of like sport or non-sport. We've asked this questions a million of times. I do think there's enough entertainment aspects of it that it needs to give an episode of attention to it. But before we get into that, he's not here yet. He'll join us here shortly. I did want to at least pick your brain on a couple of things, and I will ask you about Pokemon as well.
Hey, I'm here, baby. I'm here for it.
Okay.
I just got back from the first ever.
Yeah.
At the Nashville Fairgrounds, the Nashville Poké Fest.
I'm very curious how this went because I feel bad. I texted Jeff, the promoter of this show, and I told him my granny had fallen. My mom needed help putting a wheelchair thing together that goes on the back of her car. So Friday was the day I was going to be able to go because my weekend was already gone, and I didn't get to go. And you did, so I'm living vicariously now through you. How was it?
It was amazing. I thought it was great. You know, if you guys have ever gone to the Nash Annual, the big card show that they do at the fairgrounds.
This is the Nashville show.
The Nashville show, yes, not the national where it's usually like in Chicago, but they call it the Nash Annual. Which
the National,
to be honest, is a terrible name.
No, it's the best name. The National should have to change their name.
Okay, well there you go. But yeah, so they had it at the same space, not as big, of course, because the sports cards were out of it. So this was only non-sports.
Yes.
TCGs, non-TCGs, which, for me and Pokemon, it's really hard for something that like really gets my like gear, gets me excited. One of the things that I found super exciting there that a vendor had was these Japanese Disney cards. And I don't know anything about them.
Japanese Disney cards.
Disney cards. So he had a whole, like all the Disney princesses there and like PSA 10s.
Oh, really?
And I was like, wow, this looks really interesting. That's what caught my attention. There was a vendor there selling Pop Century. Which was
singles or boxes?
Singles.
Oh, really?
Singles and boxes.
And that was what he was mainly moving was Pop Century?
Correct.
Really?
Correct.
Okay.
So Pop Century, and there was another vendor, which this was my favorite, and I took a video of it. They had a signed old Star Wars Luke Skywalker card.
Oh,
and,
cool.
And
that's from the 1977
yeah,
set. Okay.
Beckett 10.
Yeah.
And the inscription says, "Does this suit make me look fat?"
That's
Mark
what
Hamill.
Mark Hamill put on there?
Yeah.
Dude, will you please send that to me so we can include that in a clip or something? Okay, cool.
So, those are some of the things that really I was intrigued with when I was at the show.
All right, can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course.
So, obviously not as big of a show as what the National is usually at, but still, would you say it was like pretty filled? Like with
people? No, it was packed. I went there Saturday morning. I got there pretty early, so right when I got there, it wasn't as busy. But as the day moved on, like after lunch and stuff, it got busier, and you could tell it got busier because it was really like for you to be able to go up to a table and just kind of see what the vendor had. You almost had to like wait a little bit. You couldn't just like go up to the table and see and say, "Oh, let me see what you got." There was people
That's a good sign.
Like looking first, making moves, making deals, and you almost had to like wait your turn, especially if it's something that, like good that they get. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, Jesse, which I found it super interesting, and I know this has kind of been a thing. The graded guards.
The graded guards,
like the bumpers that you put over a graded card.
Sure.
They pay PSA and Beckett and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
There is, and then going back to like the flipper episode that we went to, that we talked about. There is an aftermarket for some of those colors.
Oh, really?
So Graded Guard has started to release limited edition colors, and they're like $10 if you get them off of the website.
Oh, wow.
There's like one, it's like Nebula. It's like black and purple, like a gradient into the black and goes into purple.
Oh, wow.
$150.
Are you kidding me?
So you have vendors there actually like selling these colors, and people are buying them all day long.
So that is much more, I feel like you lined that up well as far as like prefacing that with the flipper episode, because it doesn't feel like a card related thing, except of course it goes around a card, a graded slab. But that is interesting that there's such an aftermarket for colors.
There's like a sunset one that's like $200.
No way.
Yeah.
Who's the maker of them? Because I know
Graded Guard.
Oh, Graded Guard.
Graded Guard.
Oh, Graded Guard. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, that's something, if you're holding on to these, if you guys have your cards on a shelf in that and you don't care about the purple or sunset color, you may be holding on to a few $100 right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the show, traffic was good. This was my thinking, it was going to be 99% Pokemon and then a couple others.
I would venture to say it was probably 90% Pokemon.
Oh, okay. But it was still a lot of Pokemon.
There was a lot of Pokemon. I saw One Piece.
Oh, okay.
I saw, these weren't like vendor specific of this thing.
Okay.
But they had those cards in their showcases.
Oh, okay.
So like One Piece, some Dragon Ball, some Pop Century, some Disney stuff.
Interesting.
Okay. So but the majority of it was, of course.
Yeah.
And I saw people there with sports cards as well, which is interesting.
Did you see anybody there? Man, I cannot remember, and I feel bad because I want to promote him. But there was a guy there that I talked about maybe 2 years ago or something. He said he does music cards, like specifically like bands and things like that.
I don't think I saw anything like that. If I did, I might have not just.
Yeah, you might have not.
I mean, I must have looped around 3 times just to get everything, like, and then attack.
Okay. Was it mainly singles, or were there people selling boxes as well?
Boxes of like sealed.
Yeah, sealed
yeah,
boxes.
No, it was a little bit of everything. Graded, singles, binders. The really cool thing that I witnessed is people literally walking around with their binders, their PC binders, and there was one girl on there, and I took a video. I'll send it to you. She only collected like Pikachu cards.
Oh, cool.
And so she was like going around and look, I need this Pikachu card, so she's buying this, and it's not necessarily like an expensive card.
Sure,
she just collects Pikachu cards.
Interesting.
So people are just going around with their binders, and you're like, I need this one for my set, and they're looking at their binders, not necessarily like expensive cards.
Yeah,
$2, $3, at the most.
Sure,
but those are the quick liquidated, cards.
It's funny because to me, I've often thought of collecting Pokemon, like the people who collect Pokemon, those binders are meant to fill like the complete set, right? Or like initially that's what the thought is, but I don't typically associate them as, in the sports world, they're collecting like an individual player or something because that's their favorite player. And it would make perfect sense why they wouldn't collect just Pokemon or just Pikachu or just Charizard, whoever else it may be. Is that something that is that a common thing in the Pokemon hobby?
I know a guy that only collects he collects 2 things. Houndoom is a big Pokemon, but he only collects Pokemon cards that look like they're hugging. They're going in for a hug.
Really?
And the same guy also collects cards that look like the Pokemon is under the influence. Yeah.
You know what? I think I've seen that guy on Instagram, or at least someone else is also doing the same thing. I saw that just recently on Instagram where someone was collecting ones that are under the look of under the influence.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was like a known
So it's like
thing.
a thing, like, ironically, like my wife, and she's not into the hobby whatsoever.
Yeah.
but like Growlithe is like her favorite just because
he's a snuggly tiger dog.
And we have a dog, Golden Doodle, shout out to Tater. But she's like, she has a little binder, and anytime I have a Growlithe in a set, I'll give it to her, and she just puts it in her little binder.
Oh, wow.
She's like, look at these cute little Growlithe cards.
That's precious. I love that. Okay, so Adam is here in the waiting room. I'm going to bring him in. Just one more question, though. Did you notice any kind of difference in the demographic of what you would expect at a sports card show versus that show?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. What are we talking?
A lot more women.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Age the same about? Or younger,
I would say
older?
between anywhere between 20s to like you name it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. A lot more women. I would venture to say 70% men, 30% women.
But that's high for some of these shows for sure.
Yeah.
Kids,
and they're excited.
Like not many kids.
Oh yeah, kids were there for sure. Okay. But it's not like. But I was amazed to see the women actually going and like looking for certain things.
Yeah,
like they're not just there with their boyfriend. Yeah. Which I did see that. Sure. But they're like they got their binder. They're like, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that.
Okay.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Considering how much different a sports card show is than a TCG show.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Since I couldn't be there, I had to live again vicariously for you. And I do fully intend to be at the next one.
Yeah. So I filmed some great content there. If you want to see it, shout out to the Nashville Flippers. You can catch it on there. So
nice. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead and bring our resident WWE expert, Adam Gellman, on the pod. All right, we've got Adam Gellman of Main Event Wrestling Cards, who has now joined us officially. So we've got three bros just talking about cool WWE stuff. Adam, how are you?
Doing awesome. Congratulations on the new podcast. I'm happy to be a part of it after joining you a couple of other times, but I listen to this like as a religious experience because I love non-sport cards. I love wrestling cards. You guys do a great job here. Jesse, congrats again on all the success.
Thank you, buddy. I do appreciate that. And as you know, this show being something non-sport and having a wrestling person come on, it begs the question, does that deem wrestling as non-sport? I don't know if I've asked you that question on this pod. So
I don't think you have.
So now the time has come. Adam, is wrestling sports or non-sports?
So from traditional hobby landscape sort of understandings, wrestling kind of exists in this gray area that I think is tough to define, right? Because it's a sporting contest, right? We all know that the blood is real, the injuries are real and stuff like that, but the outcomes of the matches are fixed. So it's kind of like, how do you go about defining whether it's a sport or entertainment or non-sports? From a card collecting perspective, I think it probably fits now more on the sports landscape because of what Fanatics is kind of bringing to the table here. But in the past, I think it's kind of had a foot in each world, right?
I think I would agree with that. Pretty solid explanation as well. I think that with the introduction of Topps, well, it's not really the introduction, but with them taking back over the license recently, it does feel like they're getting the star treatment that the sports card world does get, as opposed to, there's still we get good non-sport products, but you're not seeing booths set up at Fanatics Fest for non-sports. Now, granted, who knows, this year, second one, maybe we will see like a cool Star Wars and or, Marvel booth. But at this time, wrestling is a dominant feature in those events, and it is mainly sports. So let's talk about sports cards. Tell me this. When it comes to sports cards right now, what is popular? Like what's the hot product?
Well, Fanatics came back into the mix with Topps as its leading sort of card manufacturing arm of its business model, right? And Fanatics immediately formed a very strategic relationship with WWE, basically taking over all of WWE shop. And when Topps came back to the hobby, like at the wrestling part of the hobby, I should say, they led with Topps Chrome, which is obviously going to be, as it is in baseball, as it is in football, like Topps Chrome is the set. And so right now, because Topps is kind of in this sort of lull, if you will. Like they've released a couple of smaller things since the hobby release of Topps Chrome, but I think people are still hunting down Topps Chrome like it is going out of style, because it's like the price per box has gone up so dramatically because the supply is being eaten up by so many people wanting to get a hold of it. So I think right now Topps Chrome is very, very popular in WWE. They've had this release of Cactus Jack, which is a Topps Chrome variant, I would say. It's its own product, but it's like Travis Scott's branded Topps Chrome product, like they did for baseball at Fanatics Fest last year. They released it at WrestleMania this year. Very, very limited release. So that's very popular as well, because everybody wanted to get their hands on these exclusive WrestleMania cards, right? It's the Super Bowl of wrestling. So to have this Cactus Jack product come with such a shortage of available boxes for collectors to rip, like it's been going crazy. The singles have been selling insane prices. And then you go back to even the Panini stuff, like the rare and desirable cards from Panini will continue to be valuable and desirable even now when Topps comes back. So we've seen people go on these epic chases to hunt down like all of the rare and desirable Panini cards, similar to the way that they're doing in basketball and NFL, because Panini's sort of transitioning out of those major licenses in the short time frame here.
Well, and I know when we came back from the Topps conference, one of the points they made was like on the Fanatics website where they sell like merch and things like that. The biggest seller by far when it comes to merch, not specifically cards, but just merch overall, is WWE. It is the biggest, most popular part of it. And I know, like Ruben mentioned in the chat at the very end of the last day, it was like that was surprising to him. Now, Ray, you're not a card collector of WWE, but you are a fan of it, right?
Yes, very much so. I do have some Panini.
Oh, you do?
Some Panini WWE cards.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. So let me ask you, as someone who has been a Pokemon collector mainly as far as the card world goes, do you see like any difference, or do you hear anything more about WWE Topps cards than you did maybe in the past?
Oh, for sure.
Really? Okay.
Ever since, like Adam was talking about, ever since Fanatics took over that IP,
yeah,
it's been incredible. I mean, down to the one of ones, the special inscriptions that like the wrestlers put on the cards.
Yes,
on card autos. Now they're was it during WrestleMania, Adam? They had like a specific patch that the wrestlers were wearing.
Yes.
And then they're gonna put on a card, debut patch. Like all that stuff. Like they're thinking about it way ahead of time. And I think that's like 1,000 times better than what Panini was doing.
What do you think it is when it comes to cards and WWE that seems to be fitting so well? Because we've introduced cards into other sports. Their hockey is obviously, it has its own following, and there's enough collectors out there that love it. But it would seem like in the States specifically, WWE is easily becoming maybe the fourth most collected sports card, or at least it would definitely appear that it's headed in that way if it's not there.
So I think that there's a couple of answers to that, because WWE, even though it is thought of as kind of like this weird amalgamation of sports and entertainment, like people love WWE. They live for WWE more than, I would say, more than some of the other sports that are out there. But if you look at the way that people have fandom for their sports teams or their baseball teams, basketball teams, whatever, people have that same fandom at WWE, but there's no off season. There's no like it is year round and it's a big event every month. The playoffs, like for basketball, are just sort of getting to their close. The playoffs, quote unquote, for WrestleMania ended in April, but they're already like well into their next sort of stages of things. So people get to engage year round. And from a memorabilia perspective, like WWE has always had people chasing down autographs, chasing down the action figures, chasing down, you name it, like to the most oddball thing, like a Stone Cold Steve Austin toothbrush or something like that. People have collected all of these things for decades, because back in the late 90s, like wrestling was, part of like this social experience that everybody had. You walked in around your high school, you saw people wearing Degeneration X and Austin 316 t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Like, so those types of things have translated for such a long period of time. Now you have this combination of, we get the focus from Fanatics. We had major focus from Panini. Now we've got major focus from Fanatics. But not only that, they're drawing easily accessible parallels between what the experience is for NFL, NBA, MLB, and transitioning that into WWE. Starting with Prism coming out in 2022, there were really easy ways for people to cross over between sports cards and wrestling cards. And now with Fanatics coming in and Topps doing very similar things, like plus all of the marketing and ramp up and stuff they've done at the industry conference, the massive amounts of awesome things that they're doing to bring chase to WWE. Like, you're ripping a Pokemon pack, you want to pull the Umbreon SIR, but if you are ripping a WWE pack, there really wasn't a chase until like, you get into some of these other things. I'm trying to draw Pokemon parallels for you, right? But
That's
like, I think like the understanding here is like, we're finally getting to a spot where there's enough attention from the card manufacturers that they're starting to invest more in the product technology. They're starting to invest more in the programs that they're putting behind the cards. You saw what happened with the buybacks. Like, everything sort of snowballs to a point where you get to this fandom that has more social media followers than NFL, NBA, and MLB combined. Like, all of that stuff really translates to creating this new community. Oh, by the way, you have these exceptionally passionate people like myself and others who will love to have more people join in our fun times and be a part of this. So I think it just sort of all is this big snowball effect that's going just as good as it can possibly be. And I've been collecting wrestling cards since like 2017. I've been collecting sports cards and writing about sports cards since like the early 2000s. So like, this is as best as I've ever seen it. I thought that there would be kind of a transition period between the Panini and Top stuff, but it's really sort of just continued that crazy upward trajectory.
All right, here's the thing. You gave a very solid, I don't think you were rambling at any point. You just gave a very long answer. I'm going to ask on the next one, we go a little shorter, and that's only because I have so many questions I want to pepper you with. All right,
Okay.
so, but the
He's
fact
just
that you're
excited.
well, and he's very knowledgeable.
I'm very excited.
And I didn't feel the need to jump
he's dealt
in.
with me before.
I didn't feel like the need to jump in because all of it was like, it wasn't like repeating. It was just like, it was all new, good information. So, all right. So then, let me ask you this.
Rapid fire.
When it comes to that, like that chase, the Umbreon-esque chase, who would you say is one of those chases right now? If it's not one, maybe it's multiples.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's more a type of card, right? So I think what Topps brought to this new product, they brought a ton of superfractors. So, like, if you look at the way that everything was built prior, there are, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin has like 5 superfractors in this new product. The Rock has 15 superfractors. Like, it's always the big names that are driving the conversation, right? So The Rock and The Undertaker, Triple H, who runs all the creative for WWE, he just signed his first card on card in like 2-3 years. So like, The Rock just signed his first card in almost 25 years. Like, all of these things are really the big chase right now.
Now, when you say The Rock signed his first card, he signed it as Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or just The Rock?
He signed it as The Rock. He's had other Dwayne Johnson cards that have come out.
Okay.
But this is his first like on-card wrestling card that he signed since I think 1999 Comic Images or something.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
He's had other cards that he signed as Dwayne Johnson though.
So you mentioned like Travis Scott, obviously the Cactus Jack thing being very popular. I like the fact too that Fanatics is like, oh, you know what? If we're going to be doing this, we need to be like selling these boxes at the events, like at these big shows. So the fact that they had it at the WrestleMania, it was WrestleMania, right? The other week.
Yeah.
So the fact that they had it at these big events is like, genius from a marketing point of view. It's like, where else are you going to get the biggest fan base to go out and get that product? But not only that, it made me think, who else is coming up in the wrestling world that might be a name that comes from outside of it? So Travis Scott being probably the one that a lot of us think of as one of the newer people entering that space. And then you've got like the Logan Paul coming in there too. But is there anybody else that is coming into that space right now?
From like a celebrity perspective?
Yeah, from like outside of that. Like, is anybody have you seen someone like, I'd imagine like the way they do this is just kind of like introducing them, like their character or something, and for a moment or talking them up. And then it's like, next thing you know, they're at one of the events, they're in the ring doing whatever. I'm just curious, are we, the non-WWE watchers, going to expect to see other celebrities coming into this space?
Yeah, so you mentioned Logan Paul, just to touch on that, because at the industry conference, they showed that Topps does have autograph rights, look likely for the first time ever for Logan Paul.
Wow.
So I think people got confused because the card was like a debut patch, and like Logan Paul's been on Raw for a very long time. I think that was just an artist rendering of what the card is going to look like.
Yeah.
But Logan Paul, it was just basically a vehicle to tell people, hey, Logan Paul is going to have cards in upcoming WWE products. Very controversial individual, but he's obviously going to sell. The other sort of one that hasn't been mentioned is Pat McAfee.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pat McAfee.
Oh, I did just see that Topps Now card. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Pat McAfee had a select card in Panini's products before, but didn't have autographs, didn't have any of that stuff. Even though Panini probably had stickers from when he was a punter, like I think what Topps is likely going to want to do is incorporate him more in the wrestling sort of area of his career.
Yeah.
And, he's a national sports superstar. Like, his show is one of the most widely watched sports programming that exists. And he's one of the commentators on Raw, just had a match at the recent pay-per-view. And like, that's a huge name. If they can get Pat McAfee to have cards, sign cards, have Logan Paul have cards, sign cards, you had The Rock, Triple H, who haven't had cards in a long time. Plus, you are adding on all the new people that are coming up through their developmental brands. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see how all of this is really coming together, unlike anything it's been doing for the last probably 5-10 years.
Okay. So, and one of the reasons I asked that question is because obviously that's one of the marketing ploys that they will use is like, hey, how do we get more people to care about this? Is bring in people they already know or have seen before. So kind of a reverse question of that, like, who do you imagine as the next big crossover star that goes from WWE into Hollywood or something else outside of it?
Hey, great question, because this hits very close to home for me. So there's a couple of wrestling stars that have recently had time away to go film projects. One of them is Liv Morgan. So she's going to be in the new Bad Lieutenant movie, I believe.
Oh, cool.
She's kind of they're making one. It's that's set to come out probably next year sometime. But my favorite wrestler, Becky Lynch, has a role in Happy Gilmore 2, and she has a role coming up in Star Trek.
Cool.
There's a Star Trek show.
Yeah.
So I think like there's a lot of crossover now. They're looking to WWE to breed more of these stars like John Cena and Batista and The Rock, who have all made huge careers out of their stardom in wrestling, translating that to film and TV. John Cena has Peacemaker 2 coming out, which I am beyond excited for. So I think, wrestling is going to be at the forefront for a while here.
All right. So, and feel free if you have any questions.
Ray, Seth Rollins, he's doing a lot of stuff. And
Seth Rollins,
he was supposed to be in Captain America, I think, and they cut his scene last minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And going back to that celebrity question, I mean, Adam, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Bad Bunny comes back to the ring, and then does a little something.
Oh, I didn't know Bad Bunny.
Yeah, he had so when he was on SNL, like he performed on SNL for their season finale, prior to that, his previous performance, he was actually like a weird championship. I'm not going to get into the details of, but he actually brought that championship on SNL with him for his performance. So
wow,
that was really cool.
Have you heard anything about like how it's doing now that it's on Netflix? Like, are views up? Are they down? What are we talking?
So they are regularly cracking the #1 spot on the US charts.
Oh, wow.
Globally, it's hit and miss because that's like the different regions have different Netflix setups and stuff. But like there's two things on Netflix that I think are driving a huge amount of viewership. #1 is Raw, happening every Monday night, every Monday morning, or every Tuesday morning. It's the #1, even Tuesday morning still people are watching that. But they just announced at WrestleMania, they're doing a show called WWE Unreal, which is like Drive to Survive, which is the F1 show where they went behind the scenes and talked to all the drivers and stuff like that. They're going to do that exact same thing for WWE. And if you saw the impact that Drive to Survive had on the US market for F1 and how the cards sort of responded to that, you're going to see very, very similar things hopefully happen for wrestling now that that show is on. And the preview, like they showed like kind of like a trailer for it, looks absolutely like anything we've never seen anything like it for wrestling.
Yeah, it's going to be sweet.
Oh, wow.
Adam, have you been watching LFG?
Yes. Yeah, that's really cool.
Wait, what's LFG?
Legends and Future Greats. It's kind of like what would you describe it? Like The Voice.
Oh, it's like
wrestling.
American Idol for wrestling.
Yeah.
It's kind of
so
like
you have like
tryout.
these legends.
Yeah.
And then they have
Undertaker and a few others. Yeah.
And you have people that are not necessarily like in NXT, which is like the developmental, that are just starting off. And then they get to pick their coaches and like they get to pick a winner and stuff
like
that.
The Voice,
and this gets them like into NXT or another one of the.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it gets them a WWE contract. They actually just had the finale last night.
Oh, no spoilers, like, Adam. No spoilers.
No spoilers. But like, it's a really cool show because I think they're trying to create content for Tubi and other sort of like non-traditional cable outlets.
Yeah.
And, like one of the things that comes out of this is you get to see one of the contestants was a former Olympian.
Gold medalist.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's really cool. And she was at WrestleMania a couple of years ago and did a thing in the ring. But now she's like in this to really get back onto TV with NXT. So yeah, they'll transition the winner into sort of their NXT role, however that might be. And if you're an old school wrestling fan, Tough Enough sort of did a lot of the same thing back in the day. But I think they're trying to revitalize the brand a little bit because a lot of the Tough Enough guys really never made it the way that they had hoped. So,
okay. All right. So when we talk about the cards of WWE, we talk about them as the viewpoint from us, like as being in America. Have you heard of what they do outside the States? And to go along with that, is there a WWE or something that coincides with this outside of the States?
Yeah, so wrestling has a humongous international impact. So when Fanatics opened the store in London recently, there was a display of WWE cards that was included in that store from the videos that I saw. And so they've really put a focus on bringing breaks and everything to the UK and other things. But even in Asia and India, and a lot of the other countries where WWE programming is shown, like I've recently purchased cards from collectors who have lived well outside of the United States. I bought one from France. I've bought one from China. I've bought one from Japan. And like, it's crazy to interact because most of my the negotiation that happens on these deals is done through Google Translate. So it's really cool to see how you communicate through these new platforms. Like there's a version of eBay that exists in all of these different countries. Plus you have international breakers. I know there's a number of breakers in the UK. There's a number of breakers on whatnot that happens for Germany and for France and for Japan. And then on Fanatics Live, I believe they're trying to get it extended a little bit out beyond the US borders, Canada, etc.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, there's a huge international audience for WWE, and that's one of the reasons why the cards have gone so crazy, is that people are buying them all over the world.
Are there leagues outside? Like, like there's
Yes.
MLB in Japan and other places, but like, is there? Yeah. So what is that?
They have international, what we call indie promotions. So like you have NJPW, which really isn't an indie promotion. New Japan Pro Wrestling has gone back for decades and decades. Hugely popular wrestling in Japan.
Oh, wow.
They have, and then they have like UK has smaller promotions across all of UK, Ireland, everything. Some of the wrestlers like Gunther and Becky Lynch and all of these guys come from that. Finn Balor too. Like a lot of the English wrestlers that are on TV right now are from those types of indie promotions and have roots there. And then you have they're expanding. I think they just bought AAA, which is a Mexican promotion. So like you have this humongous Mexican national lucha libre type promotion with stars that stretch all the way through Latin America that will be absolutely huge. A lot of them should have cards too coming up. So like that's going to translate pretty cool in a way that maybe Topps gets access to some of that, those names and their content that they can create. It's going to be cool.
Man, that is so cool. Well, I don't want to take up a ton more time because I find that I could probably ask a ton of questions. I have one or two more. One being, sure, what about like some of the older guys, like the Hulk Hogan's and the Stone Cold Steve Austin's? A lot of the names we mentioned at this point now, it's like, oh well, they're getting more cards and they already had cards before. Does this help increase like older card values? Does it decrease their newer stuff? How is that? How are you seeing that go?
I think for the most part, the newer stuff and the older stuff are collected by different groups. I mean, there's some crossover, but like you look at baseball vintage collectors versus modern baseball collectors, even on the non-sport side, the people who collect maybe the old Batman cards may not are buying into the new DC products that are released through Kakao or whatever. So I think like there's a very big differentiation there between the audiences, but I mean, Hulk Hogan and those guys are still very, very valuable in modern cards, but they're also very, very valuable in the vintage side as well. So I don't think like that it's really had an impact one way or the other outside of the already upward trajectory that wrestling cards have been on.
Okay. And then, so who would you consider to be like a blue chip investment if someone wanted to buy? Because now it feels weird talking about wrestling like this, but we've talked about baseball and basketball and football like this for a long time, of like, who would I buy now if I wanted to hold and see his value increase in a decade or two, or give to my kids? Like, what would be good value for them? So what's the answer to that when it comes to WWE?
So I think unlike mainstream sports, like the non-playing days cards of these wrestlers are still exceptionally valuable. So investing in the names that have already been there, the Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and whatever, like unless something drastically changes in the scope of the hobby, those guys will continue to go up in value because as more and more people enter this space, they're going to want to go to guys like they know. It's not like baseball where pretty much every baseball collector coming in knows kind of the way to go. Mm-hmm. With wrestling, they're all gravitating towards guys that bring this nostalgic sort of experience with them. But there's also some newer guys like Braun Breaker just recently got elevated into this new group with Seth Rollins. He is the nephew of Rick Steiner and Scott, or he's the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Scott Steiner. If you remember Big Papa Pump and the Steiner brothers from back in the day, he's from that bloodline, and man, is he impressive. Like he can run like he's like a football player. So you can imagine how fast and agile he is. And then on the women's side, you have people like Rhea Ripley, and you have who is just this, she looks crazy and she's absolutely awesome. Then you have like Tiffany Stratton, who's a former gymnast, coming in, winning titles really, really young. Both of them are all like under 25 at this point. It's crazy.
It's Tiffy time.
And then
Jesse.
You have,
and
then you have like people coming up through NXT. They've just signed somebody from Chile named Stephanie Becker, who has just set the world on fire. There's a Japanese wrestler named Julia who just came up through SmackDown. I mean, there's
Wow.
so many people that you can invest in, and it would just there's really no bad way to spend your money in WWE in that respect.
Wow. Okay.
I love
Man,
that. Adam, real quick,
yeah.
if you were to pick a woman and a male wrestler that you to invest in that are not, you know, excluding Randy Orton, excluding Becky Lynch, excluding John Cena, who would it be?
A sleeper, if you will.
A sleeper. Yeah.
A sleeper, man. So there's a guy in NXT, and I think he was the champion, or maybe still is the champion, Obafemi.
Obafemi, man.
Yeah.
He is just this hulk of a man, and he's a former power lifter or football player or something from that sort of sports ilk of individuals. He looks like he could crush anybody, and I really hope they do some awesome stuff with him. Women wise, sleeper, I think they have probably the most stacked women's roster in the history of WWE. But Roxanne Perez, who's just got called up, I think, to Raw, man, she is they call her like a female Rey Mysterio, and she's really small, really tiny, but she flies around the ring, and absolutely love her. So I would probably say her.
Okay. So that's a good question. It actually made me think of when you are talking about these wrestlers, we're talking about them in how they, run across the stage, or they do flips, or they're just physically impressive in one way or another. But honestly, when I think of wrestling, that's only half the components of it, right?
Yes.
Because a part of it is the entertainment aspect, the playing your role, your part, and who can be most realistic and make you believe what they're portraying.
Nailed it.
Who is there that, like, who would you say is some of the best that are doing that aspect of it?
I mean, you saw what happened with John Cena. I mean, like, that was just out of the, no one ever expected that in his final run, like, John Cena was going to go heel, but that's an easy answer. I think what we're seeing with a lot of these up and coming guys is they're sort of coming into their own with that mold. But guys like Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, like, they do it better really than anybody. And I think you see people like Becky Lynch, who is obviously a homer pick for me. Like, they give her the microphone because of the emotions that she sort of can. She's not the most athletic person, but she obviously can carry a story better than a lot of people. And she just had this match with a new wrestler to elevate them. So that's what drew me to her originally. And then you have guys like Logan Paul, who are just heat magnets every time they pick up a microphone. But I would say above all, Dominic Mysterio,
I was going to say Dirty
Rey
Dom.
Mysterio's son.
Really?
Yeah, he is like,
dude, incredible.
So he comes from this long line of luchadors that's just awesome. And he won the title. He won a title at WrestleMania after being booed every single time he touches a microphone. Like, he finally gets this insane moment at WrestleMania where they might even have to turn him into a good guy, which is just crazy to me. But he's doing it better. He's so incredible in just the way that he presents himself and just the way that he does it. Jesse, like, I think if you're drawn to sort of the pageantry of wrestling and sort of what that's all about, like, Dominic Mysterio is hard to beat.
All right.
Yeah.
Man.
Every time he comes on the screen and we're watching it, my wife and I, my wife's like, oh, I hate that guy. I hate him. I'm like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Wait, is she into wrestling too?
I mean,
or she just accepts it?
She accepts. I mean, we go to wrestling shows together and stuff like that.
She'll go too?
Oh, yeah.
That's fun.
Because it's all about, like you said, the pageantry and the characters,
sure.
And, of course, the athleticism.
Yeah.
And, she's got her favorites. She has the people that she hates, like Dirty Dom Mysterio. So,
man,
and his cards are going crazy too. Like, ever since this whole thing went down, like, his cards have jumped probably like 25 to 30%. It's because people have started to realize like how good he is. So,
a last question then, Adam, speaking of that, are we at a point where, like, the newcomer getting into this is going to be buying at the top of a lot of these guys' markets? Do you think this is like one of the higher points to get in at?
I think it's relative, because I still think, like, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing coming in and being your hype man for WWE unless I believed that there was room to grow.
Yeah.
But I think, like, this is one of the highest that it's ever been, if not the highest. So, like, if you're a new person coming into WWE, you're still very much like coming in at a time where everything is expensive. But relative to other non-sports or sports-based sort of cards, it is far from the type of levels that you're spending to get a centerpiece in Pokemon, a centerpiece in the Pop Century products even would outsell some of the centerpieces for WWE, because I think the market itself is still very immature. So when you're looking at like acquiring the biggest rock card that exists was $127,000, but that was like a once in a generation type thing. Most of his autographs are still under $3,000. So like to get the top guy's autograph in the best set, you're still spending a fraction of what you would spend if you were buying something outside of this space in a more sort of competitive marketplace. I mean, just look at what's happening with the Disney products and stuff. I mean, I think the Elsa Superfractor is about to sell on Fanatics. Like, that's probably going to go for more than a lot of what the bigger Topps Chrome cards would sell for in WWE.
Wow. That's a really good way to look at it. I appreciate that, Adam. Thank you, man. And you know what? As you were talking about it, it actually reminded me, and I think it's in the other room. I have a binder that I bought at a garage sale maybe 2 years ago that is all wrestling cards that I don't think
Nice.
I think at the time I bought it because I was like, oh, it was like super cheap, but I went through it and I was like, oh, there's a lot of names in here. I might have to check this out again. Now it feels like the awakening of like when you know your grandparents are telling you there's a bunch of cards in their attic and you don't want to take advantage of them by taking them from them. It's like, well, I could look and find out if they're worth anything for you.
Yeah.
Because it feels like now the WWE is like, it's been there while the card market has come back, but at the same time, there has not been as big of a bump in pricing as you would see in some of those other sports. So yeah, maybe now's the time to start pulling those out again.
I guess this is a perfect time for me to announce my new appraisal business.
Oh, there you go. Well,
no, I'm kidding.
Adam Gellman, again, Main Event Wrestling Cards. You said that is your free Patreon that you do, but where else can guys find you?
So you can find me at www.patreon.com/main event wrestling cards. Free for everybody. All the information I post is available for all the members. You can find me on Instagram at WWE Gellman and see my complete obsession with collecting Becky Lynch. And on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days, I am at SC Uncensored. For anybody that wants to have a discussion about wrestling cards, I'm always open and welcome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Adam, thank you, man. Really
Can I ask Adam
it.
one more question before we get out of here?
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about, he's got that awesome Rob Scheinberger, or what was his
Schamberger, yeah.
print with Becky Lynch in his office. Why Becky Lynch?
So when I started watching wrestling back when I was a kid, and I'm 42 at this point, Stone Cold Steve Austin was my favorite wrestler of all time. And when my son wanted to go watch WrestleMania back in 2016 and 2017, she was just on her sort of rise to stardom as kind of like this era's Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I immediately gravitated towards her. And in wrestling cards, you have to pick your one person to collect. And because of that, I dove in head first with Becky Lynch stuff. And my collection, you can go look at it on Instagram, but my collection has gotten to a point where I start to question sort of my mental state in buying some of these cards. But it's crazy.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that Rob Schamberger print on my wall, if you go into 2021 Undisputed Topps product, that is the original painting that they used to create the Undisputed card that they released in the product.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Man, I think that's pretty impressive that you recognize the print, because it's not like it's a crystal clear picture
he's the guy,
for us.
Yeah.
The guy is amazing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He does great work. Yeah.
Well, Adam, thank you again for all the knowledge. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll definitely have you back in the future.
Thank you.
All right, bud. Have a good one. All right. Actually, so before we end it, I did want to talk about just one or two other things real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
First off, shout out again to courtyard.io, sponsor of the show. They use basically online vending machines to be able to get you a random Pokemon card and or other sports card. I use it mainly for Pokemon. I know that if you go out there right now, you can use the link hobby or the promo code hobby will get you a card essentially for free for your first time. You pay for it, either a $25 or a $50 pack, and you either get a full buyback offer. So you either get exactly what you spent on it sent back to you, or you can get it for even more if the card's worth more. Pretty nice, pretty simple. And they've got a lot of prizes and competitions going on there. If you haven't checked it out, courtyard.io, promo code HOBBY. And then also, of course, thank you to DC Sports Cards that put out a nice TCG incentive right now. 95% payout for any TCG card that you list with them between now and the end of June. DC Sports 87. Check it out. All right. So when it comes to Pokemon,
we're going Pokemon.
I just wanted to ask a couple questions.
Can I interrupt for a sec? I know that Adam was just gonna.
Sure. If you got any WWE leftovers.
Yeah. So I don't know if Adam was talking about, he was talking about like a rock card, and this is a rock card. And this is kind of your question: is wrestling sports or non-sports?
Oh, okay.
I think the most expensive wrestling card per se is the rookie Dwayne Johnson card. I don't know if you're familiar with that card.
I am, but that is a football card.
Correct.
Not a wrestling.
The reason why it's so expensive
would
be because of
the person in it.
The person in it.
Of course. But that would be the person and not the character of The Rock.
That's true. That's true.
But also, how much has that gone for? Because I mean,
I don't know. I know that the one that I just pulled up, that it's listed on eBay for $3,300, and it's a PSA 8. But they're super rare because it came in like a Miami Hurricanes like booklet.
Yeah, I remember.
And so it was like a tearaway.
So the thing is that one card he mentioned that did like $122,000. There was question of like how it just seemed very high, much higher than what many expected it to be. So there was a little bit of question around that time of like, was it a real price or not? But
what was the card?
Was it it was like actual wrestling
like a rock
card. Yes.
Okay.
It was actually, and I believe it was a Panini card if I'm not mistaken. But that's the thing. That is what it is. No one has proven otherwise that it wasn't a real sale. So we're just accepting that it will be. And I don't know if you're going to find one of those, his actual football cards, getting close to that. I guess maybe if there was
what if it was autographed and he signed it The Rock?
I mean, I guess we can find out if there is one out there. Yeah, that's something to look into. But again, it's not a wrestling. That's a
you're right.
Card,
that's a good call.
That's apples and oranges. All right, Pokemon question for you. So obviously we just had, and it feels to me also, I'm just gonna say this, feels like there's so many Pokemon sets coming out. So
it's overwhelming.
It is okay. It's not just me then.
It's like this. We have I don't know if you heard about the new set that's
the black and white one.
Yeah, which is crazy.
What's different
white
and crazy
Bolt
about this?
And black Jolt, I think. I can't remember what they're called.
All right.
I know that I was able to get the Pokemon Center ETBs when they dropped, like, I think a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this, and the not so cool thing about this, is that it's two separate sets releasing at the same time.
No.
Yes. So the black one is going to have its own cards, and the white one's going to have its own cards.
What?
Yeah.
Are they doing like half as much in each one? Tell me they're not going to do full productions.
They're going to be, and I think they said that it's Gen 5 of the Pokemon game, and they said that each Pokemon is going to have a illustrator card with it.
Oh, okay.
So every
single Pokemon that's in there will have its own illustrator.
Correct.
Oh my god. What are they
I know, man.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it, Pokemon. See, that is a little annoying to me.
That's annoying.
Because it's like we're at a place where it's like, oh, the market's really good. And maybe, I don't know, if I'm trying to view it from devil's advocate, maybe it is like, oh, well, the more cards out there will dilute the market some and prices will come down. And then everybody.
I mean, you've seen it. They've gone down tremendously.
Well, have they all gone down that much? I mean, some of the newer stuff coming out has been down for sure.
Yeah. Black Bolt, White Flare.
White Flare. Okay.
Yes.
Obviously that is going to be coming out next, but that's what, 2 or 3 months from now?
Yeah. In June, I believe they said.
Oh.
No? Is it June? I can't remember.
Next month. Okay. Well, my question on that, and we can look up when it comes out. It says September.
September.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no, that was for the video game, the black and white video game. So that's wrong. My question though, there was the other one, the
They call it
Destined
Destined
Rivals.
May 30th.
Is that one still more popular as far as like what people are expecting it to be?
Well, they released what the cards look like.
Oh, okay.
And some people are excited, and I'm not that excited.
You're not
for
in
them.
love. Okay.
I'm not in love with them. I think they could have been done way better, especially with the Mewtwo card.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like it's very lackluster.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So then there's that, and then there was the Friends. What is it? The one that already came out. What is the
Journey Together?
Journey Together.
Those have been dropping big time.
I don't hear anybody talking about that, or at least like it doesn't seem like there's as much demand there.
Correct.
Okay. But
it was hot when it first came out, right?
Yes.
Because of all the demand prior.
Yeah.
But when we were here, I was like, Jesse, I would stay away from this set.
Yeah.
I've been here.
And
surely enough. Yeah. I think hopefully by the time that Black Bolt and White Flare comes out, everything will kind of fix itself. Like you'll be able to go to Target and Walmart and finally
Actually
find
some
things
again?
on the shelf, because there is nothing on the shelf.
No, yeah, I still go by there every time I'm in there. I never see anything. By the way, it says products for Black Bolt, White Flare, July 18th through, it says August 22nd. Oh,
so
wait.
July 18th is the release date?
That's the release date. I think August 22nd is like when you're going to see the other boxes.
The other collection boxes and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. So that's a little bit of an update. Prismatic seems to still be maintained.
I can't find anything on the shelf. I was last Friday they released the Prismatic premium collection box.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it came with
Costco?
Like, no, just in general.
Dude, if you see more Costco releases, you gotta let me
I got
know.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So that comes with like a play mat and like a little like deck that looks like Eevee and like a lot of promo cards and then a bunch of packs.
Yeah.
So struck out every time. Dude, people were lining up at GameStop like 2 days prior to the release.
I keep seeing people lining up at GameStop for a lot of things. Well, the V Friends thing was the last one where I'm hearing this, but now they're lining up. Of course, they've always been lining up for Pokemon. It is funny where GameStop's becoming.
What would GameStop be if they didn't get into the card market?
Honestly, right? Like, I think we would already see bankruptcy. I mean, obviously it was a meme stock too.
Yeah.
So, it makes me wonder if I want to buy shares of a meme stock, but at the same
you called
time,
it.
I mean,
GameStop is looking to be like they're like the local.
It's funny because I want my local card shop to continue to succeed, and I think that at the same time, I think you can have a world where there's both.
Yeah, it always will succeed because the people that are in your local game, your local trading card store,
yes,
they're knowledgeable. You go in there and talk shop.
Exactly.
If you're going to GameStop, man, those guys don't know what the heck is going on.
I will say I went in there recently, and they seemed to actually have a little bit of knowledge, but it was more of like overarching, like it was a very high level knowledge of it, and it was more like based towards like, oh, you mean like that character from the game or something like that. So
okay,
like, I feel like they are more game oriented,
which
but,
I mean they should, right?
Yeah, they should be obviously, but I think they're maybe getting a little bit more knowledge, at least on the Pokemon side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that as TCG continues to grow, because they just had their, I think it was a millionth PSA subbed card or something like that with them. So that was like some press that they put out. I think we'll see more, because right now, it's like you get 2 boxes of something as a max. I think when they have releases, it seems like that's what it's been. I know with V Friends coming out, there's a max of 2 booster boxes per person. I'm wondering if we will see them getting more product, which means maybe either selling more or just having more available for people, because inevitably it seems to always sell out.
Mm-hmm.
So time will tell. But there was other question that came with that, and I am now blanking on it. So it may
sorry
just
to
be
ruin
time.
your train of thought.
No, it wasn't a ruining of train of thought. The only other thing I was thinking of was the V Friends thing. I did get a hobby box of it, one last hobby box. Gary sent it.
What are you going to do with it? Are you?
I don't know. I've got a real.
Our boy Shep was looking for a box.
He messaged me.
I told him,
yesterday.
I go, you need to call Gibson and see if he's got one.
I've got the one, but he's got one. I honestly, I don't know if I want to sell it.
What's the market on a box? A hobby box?
Dude, it's crazy. It's like $450 to $500, depending on where. Like on eBay, before taxes, you're paying before taxes and shipping. They're selling for $450. I saw one that just sold for $500. But what's even more insane to me are the booster boxes. Those booster boxes sold for $25 online and at GameStops. They are selling. Do you have a guess?
A booster, $70.
$70. That's a lot of money.
Is it $70?
$120.
Wow.
100. Like last time I talked about this on the last episode, it was
how many
$100.
packs are in there?
I think 6 or 8, something like
and
that.
And it's the chrome. The top's chrome.
Yes, the top's chrome V-Friends. Yeah. So
I never. Walmart and Target never got any of those.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think they did. No.
That's probably why the price of them are so high.
Everybody's saying they sold out. Nobody has any. So it's a very curious thing. I don't know if like all of a sudden we're going to see more get released. Like they held some back so that they could do this in a way to build demand.
Interesting.
It wouldn't shock me to see that. But at the same time, I kind of hope that was it. I hope that everybody moved all of their product and it just has this attention because I think that will only help to maybe grow that audience when the next one comes out. Now, granted, it's still like there's a question of like, where does this go? Is this a thing? The fact that Pokemon,
I'm so skeptical. Actually, like I want it to be a thing, but it's like
I know. Well, it's a good question for you as someone who is into Pokemon pretty heavily. There's that comparison that comes up a lot. This is the Americanized version of a Pokemon or something like that, where it's not based on former IP like Disney cards or Star Wars TCGs or whatever. It's its own thing. And now it is coming into the space where it was a TCG at first, but this release isn't a TCG.
It's just the characters.
It's just the characters. And there is like a cartoon on TV and stuff. What do you think? Like, where does this, do you think it's got legs to continue to grow and not just be a flash in the pan?
That's a great question, Jesse. I hope it's not a flash in the pan, only because I feel like other things that want to come up.
Yeah.
Like we heard like MetaZoo was gone and now it's like coming back.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought they filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, but it's coming back.
No.
So I don't know if someone bought the IP or something like that, but
really?
Like I want other non-sports cards and TCGs to do well.
Sure.
So maybe if this does well, then I feel like other things would do well.
And I think the door for others.
It's funny, like in the V-Friends Topps Chrome, what I really like is they have that stamp on there. The Chrome first.
Oh, yes. Yep.
So it's like a first edition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, man, this is the one. And what is the chase? The lucky cat or
black
whatever?
Cat. The very, 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 very lucky
cat,
and something like that. Yeah.
So it's funny that it's like the Umbreon is like the Pokemon chase nowadays, and like this black cat is the V-Friends, and I would like to get my hands on a black cat. Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Well, they sell pretty well, so I'm sure anybody would want that one. It's gonna be hard to get. But
I just got my PSA magazine in the mail. It was a V-Friends magazine.
Oh, really? I've got it actually at home. I haven't looked at it yet.
Well, there is a V-Friends sticker pack in the magazine.
No, there's not. Oh boy.
There's one card in it.
Okay, hang on. I'm going on to eBay right now.
I think $90 was the last sold comp.
You are kidding
of the magazine.
PSA magazine V-Friends stickers. Okay, $90 is what it. Hang on. All right, V-Friends super stickers from PSA magazine exclusive. I am not kidding you. This one, I guess some of them are numbered. I didn't know this.
Yeah, like the stickers, right?
Yeah. This is they say a rare robot Violet out of 55.
Okay.
Sold for $1,500.
Wow.
15. And the Noble Numbat out of 55 sold for $550. All right, I'm going. I guess I'm going home and opening
I didn't
this.
get a numbered card. I got some dog. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, you probably got the Irish Terrier.
Yes.
The insightful Irish Terrier.
Yes. In the red, with the red background.
This one is different. Maybe
that one's probably on the back of the
violet.
packs.
The violet.
They had the different.
Oh,
you know, the red, the green. I guess the refractor colors.
It says it.
Yeah, on the back. On the
I
pack.
like that.
Yeah, and the 1 of 1 is the whatever you called it.
This is exactly what they need to do with normal sports cards. They on each pack it should say what the color is out of and what the name of that color is. Because all too often it's like, I got an orange out of 50. That's not an orange. That's a shimmering burnt sun or whatever it is. It's like
but it says it on the back of the pack.
Okay, well, if you had the out of 55, it would have sold for $450 as of 2 days ago. So,
but I thought it was really cool, because I opened up the package and the magazine and I went to go flip through it and the pack fell out. I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Hey, you know what? That's knowledge that I definitely didn't have, and I don't know if a lot of our audience would have known. So,
so go home and open that sucker up. You might have a $1,500 card in there.
I know. Well, people are.
And then you can get it signed, Jesse.
Well, Gary V's coming into the studio tomorrow. That is the big thing. That'll be fun. That's kind of crazy. He's coming into our studio to record. We're just gonna go. We're gonna do it on the.
Are you gonna wear your Sunday best? You gonna wear like a bow tie and stuff?
I think I was gonna wear the. My Buzz Lightyear outfit.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best option.
To infinity and beyond, baby.
Yeah, baby. We'll see. But anyways, I might get it signed. We'll see. That is your show. Ray Solorio, Adam Gellman, thank you guys both so much for joining.
Thank you,
appreciate
Jesse,
it.
again.
This has been Hobby Nonsense. We'll be back next week for another insightful show. Tune in, stay cool, and have a great day.